Hello students, today I'm going to teach you about interpreting graphs. Graphing is about analyzing data such as trends and patterns into an organized graph. Graphing is often used in magazines and newspapers to communicate data through a visual graph. Graphing allows a convenient way to organize, sort, and represent data to make decisions clearer. Students will learn different types of graphs and their purposes while interpreting data by organizing, comparing, and sorting different types of graphs. Students can create graphs, interpret data, organize and sort data, and compare and contrast graphs. This is important in school where mathematics and reality can visually use data to make informed decisions. Students often have trouble interpreting graphs, which can cause problems. The good news is the habits and activities you do can visually track current habits. Types of graphs include bar graphs, line graphs, pie graphs, and pictographs. Let's start with bar graphs. I will show you the materials that we will be using: crayons, pencils, rulers, and graphing worksheets. Bar graphs display data in the form of bars with different heights horizontally or vertically. Did you ever wonder how students spend their time after school? This bar graph shows that sports are the leading activity. Line graphs use points to connect lines that show a change over time. Grab your materials and let's begin. Step 1. Begin by drawing a vertical line with hash marks. Step 2. Label the hash marks and name the vertical scale. Step 3. Draw a horizontal line with hash marks and appropriate labels for both lines. Step 4. With your pencil, plot the dots with each data value. Step 5. Label the graph and connect the points. On the other hand, pie graphs divide data into pie slices with its relevant value. Did you ever order a pizza and notice how many students like a certain topping? This pie chart shows 50% prefer pepperoni, followed by cheese and sausage. Students are asked to fill a questionnaire to determine which method of transportation students take to school. The data is then incorporated into a table, then transitions into a pie graph. Notice how the key explains the relationship with each slice of the pie. Each slice represents the number of students, but could be altered to display the exact percentages. Follow up with questions such as which transportation method was used the most or was used the least. Pictographs use images to represent numerical data. Images can represent everyday objects as long as a value is assigned to the symbols. The class's favorite ice cream can be plotted through a pattern or a relationship. The pictograph is used to compare data between two objects. How else can graphing improve my skills? By practicing a little bit each day, the student can become aware how to use a graph. In fact, the various benefits of watching this video can allow students to explain why graphs are important, communicate information through visual graphs and charts, understand how to interpret data, compare data types from big to small and rank greatest to least, analyze, organize, count, and sort data types. This will prepare the students to experiment and construct graphs based on the lesson. If a concept or idea is unclear, ask questions to address the issue. Students often have misconceptions with graphs when reading the data. The good news is that support is there when it is needed. Teachers can actively observe students as they complete the handouts. Methods to improve students' performance include: check for understanding through students' work, ask students to reflect on graphing lesson, ask students to summarize lesson, ask students to identify areas of improvement. By asking questions, the instructor can gain an understanding on solving misconceptions. They can explain problems in their own words to review what needs improvement. Remember, interpreting graphs requires students to relate the lesson with the environment to make life simpler and visually track daily habits. References. Thank you for watching.
Created using Powtoon.